ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, non-binaries of all ages, welcome to How to Make a Literal Cat in Your Favorite RPG. I hope you're not here to learn character creation the right way, because this is a cat creation podcast. I am one of your hosts. It's me, your favorite boy, Joel.
I am another one of your hosts, your second favorite person, Avalon.
I'm your guest. I'm a girl. I'm Fiona.
Welcome, Fiona.
Yeah, nice to have you, Fiona.
I'm so glad to be here, pals.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
I love cats. You know, I love RPGs. I love cats. It's really hitting a lot of notes for me this evening, no doubt.
Oh yeah,
we do our best. So Fiona, would you like to tell our audience a little bit about you, your RPG/podcast/ whatever other relevant experience you might have?
Yeah, sure thing. So RPGs for me were actually started pretty much as a lockdown hobby. I had listened to Adventure Zone and stuff before then, but when my family was trapped in the house, we're like, hey, what if we play some D&D? And went through the basic set from there, and then it was everything. It was Powered by the Apocalypse. It was Fate. It was all sorts of other stuff. If you know my voice, you know me from Team Up Moves, which is a podcast that I am the co-host and GM for. We play superhero RPGs because there are just dozens upon dozens of different superhero RPGs that all work in different ways and tell different aspects of superhero stories. So the podcast is taking one of those RPGs, doing a one-shot of a couple episodes in it, and then discussing it with people from the RPG community, the comics criticism community. My co-host teaches superheroes at university. She's an English professor. So, yeah, that's what I'm about.
Nice.
All right, cool. So, if you're not totally familiar with our deal, this is How to Make a Literal Cat in Your Favorite RPG, the podcast where we take different RPGs and make cat playable characters in them, whether you're supposed to or not.
Yep. Watch out, RPG makers. We are coming for your games. No game is safe from catification.
Have you come across an RPG with a disclaimer that's like, do not make a cat in this RPG? You will be breaking the rules if your character is a cat.
No one has tried to our show proof their game yet.
Yeah.
Although we have been mentioned in some patch notes.
And even if they did, I think we would find a way around it.
I mean, all we'd have to say is we broke the no cats rule.
Which, I mean, is an implied rule in so many systems.
I mean, there's a difference, though, between saying you are supposed to play as a human and you are explicitly not allowed to play as a cat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think the ones we've done where, like, you're playing as anthropomorphic animals and we've said, no, we're a regular cat, does that count as being like you're explicitly not allowed to play as just a regular animal?
I think that still qualifies as you are supposed to play this thing. So not playing is that it constitutes a break of the rules.
Yeah.
That does probably lead to sort of some like goofy Pluto questions though, right? If there's like talking cats and then there's your cat. Probably awkward.
Yeah.
A little awkward. Don't know where that is. Yeah.
I mean, wasn't Pluto, or no, not Pluto, Goofy originally a cow and not a dog?
I think so.
Ooh. I wonder if those are in public domain yet. We could go.
Probably. Steamboat Willie is, so I think within the next like 2 or 3 years we'll get Cow Goofy.
Right, so you can make content that's goofy but only as a cow, and that's okay, but if you make a dog goofy, then Disney will still come after you.
Yeah. But I mean, like, if you look at a lot of old, like, Mickey Mouse cartoons, they all had these cows with this specific, like, body type, and Goofy has the same body type as those cows. But as time went on, it became more and more, like, they stopped using it, and so it just started looking more and more canine, and like, the same thing happened to Pete, because Pete was originally a cat, but then they turned him into a dog around the same time I think they turned Goofy. Anyway, this is so not the point of this episode.
Yeah, welcome to our anthropomorphic animal discussion.
Yeah.
What is the point of this episode, Joel? What are we doing here?
Good question. Hey, Fiona, you want to tell us a little bit about the game we're going to be playing?
I would be happy to. So I have brought for you Sentinel Comics, the role-playing game. And I think this is best described as a mechanized story game for superhero fights. It's based off of the Sentinels of the Multiverse board game. It's from the same company and shares one of the designers. But it's a game that is very much focused on those superhero action scenes. 95% of what is on your character sheet is applying to when you're in the thick of it. Lasers are blasting, people are flying through the air, either on purpose or because they've been thrown. But it sort of ends up in this middle ground where you do have some powers and stuff on your character sheet that are associated with dice, and so you're rolling, and that's kind of fun. But it's got a lot of the flexibility from a story game closer to like a Powered by the Apocalypse or a Fate kind of game. So rather than something like Champions, where it's very specific, like your laser blast from your eyes does this many dice worth of damage and it's this type of damage and all that, Sentinel Comics is more about, you're going to have abilities where, oh, I can use my laser blast to do some damage if I'm fighting, or I might have an ability where I can use it to help my team or hinder the opponents. So it's focused on, I think, some of more of the outcomes of your powers than trying to like really heavily simulate like, oh, this is what duplication means. This is how invisible invisibility is, etc.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we're into narrative abstraction that gives like shares control between the game master and the players.
Yeah, and this
Love
game
that.
is definitely about that. You know, you can have an ability that's like, hey, I get to use this power to create an advantage, and you can, as a player, say like, oh, that means I'm going to melt the floor so it's lava, and so that's going to make minus dice when the opponents roll, or that kind of thing.
Sounds good.
Love that. Love that.
That gives us a pretty good picture of the type of game we're going to play. So we got one last thing to do before we get into it, and that's remind people that the show itself has some rules that take precedence over the game's rules.
Yes.
And those rules, there's 8 of them. We'll go through them as quickly as we can, I guess. Rule number 1, we accept no cop-outs. We're making a cat, the exact animal that comes to mind when I say the word. No anthropomorphic races, no people turned into cats, no lions, tigers, or any other cop-out you can imagine.
Rule number 2 is we cannot use homebrew/house rules. So sorry, Fiona, if you guys play with house rules, those don't apply here. If the rules in the rule book do not explicitly allow something to happen, we count it as a rule broken. And we went over a little earlier, rules as written versus rules as intended. If we come across that, we go with whichever one tells us no and count it as a rule broken.
Rule number 3, if the game includes stats for a literal cat, those must be used or adapted to the game's character sheet. Is that the case here?
So I looked through, and they do have like sample minions, lieutenants, and that kind of thing. I could not find a cat. There is a supplement book that has a pre-gen of a cat. But if we use that, then this episode would just be, we used that pre-gen and we'd all go home. So I think we can safely put that aside and make a character fresh. I will say that this game does not have, you're not like tracking height and weight and that kind of thing. So stats for a cat doesn't really have the same meaning.
Gotcha.
Cool.
Well, I mean, it sounds like, though, we're not really going to have to break any rules in this game, which is common thread among superhero games.
Yeah, superhero games and the superhero genre is very forgiving and even welcoming of, shall we say, abnormal and unusual bodies.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it. Okay.
We're on rule 4.
Yeah. Rule 4 is the character, class, background, playbook, job, what have you, must exist in the game's core rules or as part of an official expansion. We cannot use homebrew classes. They don't exist.
Rule number 5, the cat can learn any skill available to its class, even if it's not something a cat could normally be trained to do. I don't think the average cat has superpowers, so I think that qualifies.
Most cats can't shoot lasers out of their eyes, but who knows? Maybe this one can.
I don't think we've done a cat that can just shoot lasers from its eyes, even though that's like a common, like, internet trope.
Yeah, no, I don't think we have. Maybe this is the one. Who knows?
This cat is just going to become an embodiment of the various memes. Like, that's its origin power.
Flies around and a rainbow shoots out behind it.
We'll see. We'll see where the dice take us.
Sounds good.
Rule number 6 is if a tool would be physically impossible for a literal cat to use, even if comically downsized for them, they cannot use it. You know, I'm all out of examples for that one, so just be creative, audience. I can't today.
Our cats cannot be forklift certified.
Only if you try hard enough.
I know we've used that one before, but like, you can't make a cat drive a forklift. I'm sorry.
You can't make a cat drive an excavator either. I mean, that's just not possible.
No.
I'm a human, and I don't think I could work an excavator, even if properly trained.
Now, if the rules let us make the cat excavator,
there we go.
That's another story, but we have to assume, yeah. Anyway, rule number 7 is if a character sheet has a section that is meant to be filled out in collaboration with the whole table, we have to leave that blank so potential players can make it fit the group they're playing with. Because all these character sheets will be available for free from this and previous episodes.
Yep. And finally, rule number 8 is we have to keep track of every rule that we break. So we'll let you know how many and what those are at the end.
Yep. And with that out of the way, let's make a cat.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
So Sentinel Comics has really just a delightful way of doing character creation. It's an 8-step process, and it's a little bit of kind of a life path light thing. What we're going to do is we're going to start figuring out the cat's background, and then its power source, sort of what archetype it is in sort of some common superhero fiction archetypes. Then we're going to go into personality and then some other abilities. So each of those is going to be rolled on a table. We'll get out some dice. The rolling process gives you a couple to choose from. So we've got some flexibility there. And then they kind of build on each other.
Dope.
During this, we're basically going to be filling in 3 different groups on the character sheet. There's your powers, which are the superpowers, you know, the super strength, the laser beams, the signature vehicle, which could be a forklift. Then there are the qualities, which are sort of those mental characteristics like your grit or your training or your banter. And then there are going to be abilities, which are like special rules that you apply a power or a quality to do some special thing with the dice. So at each of the steps, we're going to be adding some powers to the character, maybe add some qualities, and put in some abilities.
Heck yeah.
All right.
The other thing that I want to say about Sentinel Comics is that when you're playing the game, pretty much every time you roll, you're going to be rolling 3 dice between a D6 or D4 even if things are really bad, up to a D12. And the size of the die sort of represents how awesome you are at a particular category of thing. But you're going to be rolling 3 of them. And one of those is going to be whatever power you're using. One of those is whatever quality you're using. And then the third die is associated with the scene and the status of the scene. And this is where we get into Sentinel Comics being really a simulator of those superhero fights. The idea is as the fight goes on, things get more intense. It's what they call the gyro system. You start in green and then yellow and then red and then maybe out, depending sort of on how long the scene has gone and how much damage you've taken. So early in the scene, it's sort of at the beginning of the superhero fight. It's sort of the traditional stuff. People are using their regular laser blasts. I need a different example of a superhero power. They're using their regular squirrel tail. But then by the end of the scene, by the end of the comic, that's when all stops are out, and big things are happening. And so the abilities that we get are going to reflect that. There's going to be green stuff that you can kind of use all the time, and then yellow or red stuff that only can be used when things are really down to the wire and really tense. So I think that's enough sort of background to explain the things we'll be filling in. And when y'all are ready, we can kind of get into it with step 1.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
Let's go.
All right. So this is choosing our background. And there are examples here from upper class or retired or anachronistic. And so one of you take 2 D10s and roll them.
Let me pour some D10s out real quick. I'm just gonna dump the whole sets here. Okay. What even is a D10? Okay. Alright. Our rolls are an 8 and a 2.
Okay. So that means that we can choose either number 2, number 8, or number 10, adding them together. And so 2 is blank slate. This is described as you remember nothing. Your amnesia, what have you. 8 is a tragic backstory. And number 10 is a military background. And when we choose these, it both fits into the concept of the character, but also it's going to give the character some of those qualities, some of that training or kind of mental aspects of the character.
Okay.
We can also do a reroll. You're allowed 1 reroll at each step, but blank slate, tragic, or military for the cat.
Military would be funny.
Yes.
I also wonder, would you know if a cat had amnesia?
How would you know?
That's a good point. It's like the old... There's an old article about how scientists removed part of a snail's memory, and they're like, how?
How do you know?
Yeah, how do you know that you did that? Just what do you remember? This complete silence. Holy shit. I don't know. This is a tough decision.
Ex-military cat, they were on a military base. Maybe a mouser,
raised.
maybe part of the feline unit. I don't know.
I like that. I like ex-military, the leader of the cat squad.
All right. Okay, cool. So what we then need to do is pick 2 of these, the following qualities. And one is going to get a D10, which is really good. It's not cosmically good, but it's really good. And then the other one is a D8, which is still above average. So there's leadership, self-discipline, or any of the physical qualities. And so those are things like acrobatics, fitness, ranged combat, stealth, etc. So we get to pick 2 of those to add as qualities. I mean, a lot of these physical abilities certainly fit for a actual cat. I mean, acrobatics, stealth, those are solid choices.
Yeah. Where are you seeing these abilities?
Yeah, so the qualities are at the bottom of page 47 on the rules. It's got just a quick table of all the powers and qualities. But the specifically talking about military is on page 52.
Okay, I see.
It is a system that rewards you for buying the physical copy, because then you can flip back and forth much more easily.
Yeah.
It's also gorgeous. I'm going to say that the presentation of this is a feast for the eyes of comic art.
So the military abilities are, let me look at those again. Leadership and self-discipline. And we got to take one of those, but then we can also take one physical ability in place of the other.
Yeah.
So do we think this cat's a leader, or do we think this cat has discipline?
I don't know.
Or both. We're allowed to say both.
I think self-discipline is probably good for a cat. Leadership seems hard. It doesn't strike me as a very cat attribute.
Yeah, I was thinking this.
I mean, we've done it before, but...
Yeah, that's old news,
you know what?
Joel. We've done it before, so...
Yeah, you know what? I don't think that we've had a cat that's been, super disciplined.
Yeah.
Well, no, I can't say that either, but...
It's been a while.
Yeah, let's do discipline.
Okay. So self-discipline, and then just to review the physical qualities are acrobatics, close combat, finesse, fitness, ranged combat, and stealth.
What? Okay.
Stealth, right?
Stealth
or acrobatics.
I was thinking those. Fitness would be good or funny because jacked cat, but I think stealth is.
So they think that this is maybe like a military infiltrator cat, that's this is our scout cat. This is our get in where it's not supposed to be kind of cat.
Mm-hmm.
That tracks for
cats. It's like our Lancer cat without the bombs.
Yeah.
Yet.
Okay, so we got self-discipline and stealth under our qualities.
Yeah.
And we assign one of those to the D10 and one to a D8, right?
Yep. Yeah. So is this cat better at self-discipline or better at stealth?
I kind of want to play up the self-discipline aspect of this cat because that's like at best been a secondary trait of previous.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I feel like that's important for a cat on a mission. It's like I've got a GPS tracker on one of my cats, and I'll whistle for him to come home at night, and I can watch as he like starts coming towards my house and then just starts veering off in another direction for a little while, and I have to whistle again, and then he remembers and turns out. So I think a cat with like self-discipline, like that's the one that is going to have military applications, right? You can send him to a specific place, and he or she or they is going to actually get there. All right.
Nice.
Now, it's also worth noting that there's no real mechanical difference among these abilities. A couple of them, like, maybe kind of affect your starting health. But other than that, these are purely going to be narrative when we get down to it actually playing the game.
Gotcha.
All right. So then we get to pick our first principle. And so you get 2 principles, and these are, the things that kind of make up the core of the character of your character. And so by military, we get to look at the ideals principles. And this starts on page 131. There are a bunch of these. Mostly these affect sort of your role-playing stuff, but also the ways that the GM can kind of throw things at you. So, for example, one of the ideals principles is the principle of defender. You put yourself into harm's way to save other people. And what this also prompts is that the GM can say like, oh, how did your actions put you in more danger than before? Or what great sacrifice did you have to make to succeed? So it's kind of a neat way to kickstart a little bit of the role playing. And, in games like PBTA games and there's often I need to have a consequence for someone, success with a complication.
Yeah.
And the twists off of your ideals and from other places are good hooks for making those quickly. Because I don't know how many of you have been at a table where you're like waiting around like, what's the right consequence for that? Well, here they give you some good ideas. So we've got principle of chaos, maybe goes against self-discipline, don't know. Principle of compassion, odd for a cat. Principle of defender, principle of dependence, principle of equality, principle of great power, principle of the hero, and principle of honor.
It's got to be honor, right? Like I know there's more, but like
oh yeah, gosh, this does keep going.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's we've also got justice, liberty, order, self-preservation, and the zealot. But it's got to be honor because honor is you are governed by a strict code of conduct. Even under coercion, you will not compromise your ideal.
Yeah.
Even if you shake the crunchies, this cat will not veer from its path.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So write down principle of honor as the first of the principles.
And that's what type is that?
A.
Not my blood type, and I don't think I can accept it. So.
Yeah. So the icons are So if you look in the next column over, I think that one.
That's the type.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
we don't get to put the icon there, but
they have to drive.
I'm sure anyone who knows this game is gonna be able to figure out what that is supposed to be.
Yeah, it's the overcome arrow. So this is for overcoming challenges. Get to use this ability, which for people following along, the ability is to overcome a situation, to maintain your code of honor, use your max die. You and each of your allies gain a hero point. And so again, the max die is referring to all these rolls. It's going to be 3 dice. So one of them is going to be a max, one's going to be a mid, and one's going to be a min. And so those are referred to among the ability texts.
All right.
All right, so we got our background. We've got a military cat.
Nice.
Self-discipline, code of honor, a little stealthy. So, Avalon, what you're going to want to do is take a D10 and 2 D8s and roll those. We're going to use those for picking on the power source table.
Okay. So I got a 6 on the D10 and a 1 and a 2 on the D8s.
Okay, so 6, 1, 2, and then any 2 of these added together. So I guess that also gives us, 3, 7, and 8. Am I missing any?
Yeah. 1, 2,
all right.
3, 7, 3, 6, 7, and 8. Right?
3, 6, 7, 8. Yep. All right. So our power source options then are accident, training, genetic, nature, which is a little bit kind of more werewolfy, I think, side, or powered suit.
Also relic, right?
Oh, yeah. Yep. 1 and 7. Relic.
I mean, training, it fits with the military background.
Yeah.
Plus,
Yeah.
signature vehicle. We can get the forklift certification.
The forklift.
The Cat Forklift, specifically.
Does the company Cat make forklifts?
Yes.
There you go.
We've already made a Joe Caterpillar brand mech. I don't know if we can do that again.
No, probably not. Okay, so do we want
Also, aren't people supposed to be divesting from Cat right now?
I don't know. I'm not purchasing any heavy machinery,
Right, yeah,
so
exactly.
it doesn't really
Next time I'm in the
affect
market
me.
for an earth mover, I will check the list.
You get yourself a John Deere. Okay, so are we going to go with training then?
Oh, training? Yeah. I mean, we're still in plausible cat territory, I think.
Yeah, cats can be trained.
All right.
Yeah.
So the way this kind of comes together then is, so we had that D10 and 2 D8s, and we get to use those to assign to powers. And so there's a list of powers associated with training. There's gadgets. There's the signature vehicle and signature weaponry. And these are very much like whatever you want to come up with, just run it by the GM. And then we can also get any from the athletic powers category, and that's different from the physical qualities. It's athletic powers, or the intellectual powers category. And so we get 3 of those. 1 will be a D10 and 2 will be D8s.
Okay.
I feel signature vehicle, right? I feel like we've teased this, we've set it up. We can't not, right?
I think
the Cat Forklift.
I like the idea that the cat started as a forklift driver. And so it's working on base with the forklift, moving small things around. And they're like, wait, the self-discipline of this cat is incredible. Let's go send it out on missions.
this cat taught himself how to drive this forklift.
Exactly.
I think we'd have to specify it's the Cat Forklift because, again, just a regular forklift, even comically downsized for a cat, would not be drivable by a cat without further modifications.
True.
Well, this is like where they show, where people build like little tanks for rats, and the rats can figure out how to drive their little car. Possibly a cat could do that as well, with the addition of the forklift.
Yeah, if it was driven completely by buttons, I think
the tail could maybe move the fork part up and down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, more limbs. Cats, better forklift drivers than people? Maybe.
Who knows?
Probably not.
No.
We said this cat has a military background. We did not specify which military and what reputation they have for effectiveness.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be who's someone who doesn't have a military.
Canada?
Switzerland, right? Neutral?
Yeah, it could be the Swiss military.
Okay, so forklift.
Could be the French military.
Do we feel like the forklift is a D10 forklift or a D8?
Probably a D8.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't imagine, like, the cat knows how to get the forklift going, but, like, how much destruction do they cause with this thing? Are they doing
And even
more
if they're
harm
really
than
good, it's still a cat-sized forklift.
Yeah.
So there's a maximum efficacy level there.
Its maximum load, 200 lbs, baby.
It can lift most, but not all people.
Exactly.
All right.
I feel like we should have a gadget that's like, what's a good, like, gadget that we could give a cat that would have military applications?
The Omnitrix.
Yeah, and well,
No.
so gadgets, you could also just say, this cat has gadgets. And,
Okay.
you know, you could scope that a little bit, like gadgets that fit in the cat collar or something like that. But it can be greater that, you know, it can be sort of like, you know, the way that Batman has a handful of gadgets.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Catarang.
The cat-tility belt.
The Catility belt.
Well, I'm getting out, what's the dog from Inspector Gadget, right? There's a bunch of stuff in his collar.
Oh, I don't remember his name.
Yeah. Hey, Joe.
I've never seen Inspector Gadget.
Okay.
What?
Not even the cartoon.
Joel, you can't be serious.
I am.
Anyway, I feel like a cat collar can hold a lot of different small gadgets.
Potentially.
Probably, let's look at the athletic powers. I feel like that's a good lead for a cat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Agility, speed, strength, and vitality.
Agility and speed would make sense. I feel like vitality is a possibility, though, just because we are a well-honed machine at this point.
Mm-hmm. Tough cat. Yeah. Well, so this is stuff that's coming from training, right? So
Yep.
if I were a military contractor charged with training a cat, what would I focus on?
Probably speed or agility would be the obvious things.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I want to argue for vitality because cats are not naturally endurance animals.
Yeah.
They're pretty fast already. They're pretty agile already, but they wear out so quickly. So if you need a cat to go on a prolonged mission, you're going to want to boost up their endurance.
I like this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because again, we've got that self-discipline. We've got that code of honor. Like, this cat is going the distance, you know? So, yeah. Okay.
I think
Vitality.
vitality is very good. Is this an ability?
This one's this is a power. Then we get to start picking some abilities.
Gotcha.
Did we assign the D10 or the D8 to gadgets?
Oh, I don't think so. I put it as D10 just cause.
Oh.
Yeah, I
we'll
think
keep
probably
it there then. That's fine.
I think probably in the interest of actually, when you're at the table playing, you probably want to be bringing out those gadgets a lot.
Yeah.
So hitting that D10 will be good.
Yeah.
All right.
It's also fun to think about how these pair together because, again, when you're doing an action, you choose a power and a quality that fit. So, you know, I think gadgets and self-discipline, it's like, you know,
This cat
I'm not going to do the fun gadget. I'm going to do the important gadget.
This cat's like, I've got silly string, and then I have C4. Which one?
Fine, I'll use the C4.
Or sorry, thermite. That's the serious string, the serious buddy.
These two streams, one of silly string and one of thermite.
Yeah. Funny enough, both incredibly flammable.
It's too late, Avalon. This cat is already forklift-certified.
Oh my god, how much more power can they get, man?
Well, it is a game about superpowers, so, I mean...
Guess we'll just have to wait and see. Or rather, the audience will have to wait and see, because it's time for the mid-roll. Welcome.
Yeah, what's up, guys? We're here. We've got podcast news, I guess.
Yes, we've got big news, specifically. And Joel, this news is your doing, so would you like to enlighten the audience?
Yeah, sure. So I finished the Badger Trove website, or at least got a working version of it up and running. So, From now on, you don't have to go to literalcatpod.start.page for information about the show anymore. We've got something that sounds a little more professional. You can now tell people to go to badgertrove.com/literalcatpod.
Incredible, very professional, dedicated web page for it on the www, aka the World Wide Web.
And also, just for the record, nothing else has really changed all that much. It's still the same email, still the same social media, still the same RSS feed link. So, some things have stayed the same. What is that email again?
Yeah, that email for all y'all is literalcatpod@gmail.com. Over there, you can send us games to play, ideas for cats, you can request to be a guest. You can send us pictures of your cats, and that's the most important part, honestly.
Yep. We really want those cat pictures.
Yes, please. They're valuable currency in today's economy.
Oh, also, we've made the Discord public. I know we said we'd probably already done that, but it's definitely been done.
Yeah.
So what I want you to do as our listener is go to badgertrove.com/Discord and you can join the Badger Trove Discord.
Yeah, you can have fun conversations with people on there, other enjoyers of the show. Joel and I might hop in from time to time, give our 2 cents on stuff.
I mean, we don't have like a huge moderation team, so we are going to have to jump in.
Yeah. We will be active. I'm on Discord like all the time, so. But yeah, hop in, join the conversation, become part of the Literal Cat Pod community. Other places you can be part of the community if Discord is not your thing or you just don't have one. You can find us on our social media sites. We've got Twitter, Tumblr, Blue Sky. We've got a YouTube page. You can add us, you can reply, leave comments, what have you going on over there.
So you can also find all those links on badgertrove.com/literalcatpod.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the YouTube, also Literal Cat Pod. Also, if you, our dear audience, feel so inclined, we would appreciate it if you would leave us a rating and or review of this show on your podcast listening app of choice. If it's Apple Podcasts or Spotify in particular, your review will be fed into the algorithm, and the more reviews and or ratings we get, the more likely this show is to pop up in somebody's recommendations. We don't really pay for advertising of this show, so word of mouth is the best we've got. We appreciate those reviews. We appreciate ratings because of that. But also, yeah, word of mouth is all we got. So you can also just, tell a friend if you don't feel like leaving a review. And if you are playing any of the games that you've heard us talk about on this show, you can go to bit.ly/literalcatpod to download the character sheet of the game that you are playing and try and sneak it past your DM to get into the game.
I'm sure most cool DMs will let you. So if you're a DM and you're listening to this, throw it in as an NPC or convince one of your players. If they can't come up with a good character idea, send one of these docs their way. They're free to download, free to use. They're fully fleshed out. As always, you can edit anything you want to fit your game.
Yeah. And as usual, the final thing that you can do to help the show, although this is lower priority at this point, is go to our Patreon. We have more general news about not just the podcast, but the Badger Trove team as a whole over there on Patreon. Although right now we've got the one show. So
yeah.
I mean, we've got an RPG in development when I finally have time to sit down and work on that again.
We'll find the time.
Yeah.
The Patreon is more of our long-term thing, so feel free to join it whenever. There are benefits to joining it now, but those benefits will just continue to come later on. Even if you wait, if you're listening to this episode 5 years from now and you think, you know what, that sounds like a good idea. There's probably a bunch of content over there at that point.
Yeah, we've already started publishing special content for our $5 tier members. Right now, you can go and listen to the first half of a poorly conceived Powered by the Apocalypse game mashup using cats from this show.
I want to add to that, poorly conceived, very well executed.
I did my best.
But yes, you can get access to that. It's a very fun episode. There will be a second part up eventually, so you can finish out that fun little story that we did, that one shot.
Eventually, that one will probably hit the main feed, but it'll be to entice you to go listen to the Patreon feed, which will have other content, including recorded playtests of our currently in development RPGs, which we've only got the one recorded playtest right now, but I'm probably going to record some more once I've made the changes that I realized needed changed after the last run.
That is what playtesting is for.
It certainly is. Anyway, Avalon, do you have anything you would like our audience to check out?
I'm going to say, as usual, you can follow me on Twitch, Twitter, Tumblr, and TikTok, all at Avalon Alchemist. I've been streaming a bit more on Twitch, just played through a bunch of the Elden Ring DLC, but now that I am finished with that, I've got a couple games I'm moving on to. I plan on streaming Hi-Fi Rush, and then once I'm done with that, if you're listening to this a little farther in the future, I plan on playing Tony Hawk's American Wasteland, one of my favorite games of all time, but I found a way to stream it, so I am looking into getting that set up.
Nice.
But that's all I got. Joel, what do you got?
I have actually started streaming.
Whoa, where at?
Well, as of right now, the Twitch account is called twitch.tv/omammer, and that's with a 0 for the O.
Ah, like the cool kids do.
Yeah, although, I don't know. I might try and get a different username, but they only let you change it for like once a month, so I'm stuck with that one for now.
Ah, I see.
But also, Omammer is a VTuber character, so...
Yeah, so we got our resident VTuber over here.
Yeah, I'm one of those now.
You're one of the cool kids. You know, VTubers super in right now.
I mean, it is a pretty cool performance art.
Yeah, I enjoy it. And I hope you will too, audience. So go over there, check them out. Will this be up before your debut stream?
No, but I'm probably still going to be playing Dragon Age Origins by this point when you do hear this.
Yes, so if you are a Dragon Age fan, go check that out. And if you're not a Dragon Age fan, check it out anyways. Come on.
Anyway, that's enough from us, I think.
Yeah, we'll let you guys get back to the episode. Let's see what else this Forklift-Certified cat can get up to.
So now we get to essentially write some abilities using two of those powers. And so the abilities that they give you for training as your options, one is always be prepared, where you boost yourself using one of your powers. And so the boost is going to be an addition to your die rolls for future turns. There's reactive field, which is a reaction event that lets you deal damage back, essentially, to your attacker. The other one is flowing fight, which is attacking with a power, and you get to attack extra targets when you make that attack. So each of these are templated. We can sort of say like, oh, which of these kind of fits with gadgets, or which of these kind of fits with vitality. And so we can pick two of them and fill them in as yellow abilities for our cat.
Cool.
And so this is page 58.
Yeah, for those at home that need to know.
Exactly. Hey, we're keeping the receipts on this character.
Yeah, we want you to be able to play him.
So always be prepared. I think that's a good one. That fits with gadgets because it's like, oh, I'm going to use my gadget that is a, I don't know, sensor array or something like that will help me in a future turn, or, you know, my targeting computer, etc.
Mm-hmm. I like that too, because like if you have that a lot of self-discipline and you're like, you know, you're setting yourself and your team up for success, I think this cat would always be prepared, you know, kind of think of multiple win cons, for lack of a better term.
Though, alternately, just hear me out.
Okay.
Boost yourself using a cat forklift. Do you like that phrase? Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Yes. Boost yourself using a cat forklift.
And so you give yourself a bonus and then you attack from the forklift. I think this is the possibly climbing onto the front of the forklift as it raises up, so that's another option here.
Okay.
Well, I'm trying to think if the other ones really fit for forklift. So reactive field is like attacking back, unless the forklift is spiky. I'm not sure if that's a good one.
I mean, forklifts naturally have spikes on the front of them.
That's true. The other one, I mean, flowing fight could work with a forklift because you're attacking additional targets. So, once you get a little bit of the momentum, even though it's a small forklift, it does have some weight behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So you could hit multiple targets with a forklift.
Now, I've got one argument for reactive field, and that's that the Cat Tility belt could have some defensive properties to it.
Ooh.
So, like, pickup protection. No one can grab this cat.
Oh, yeah. Like an automatic taser.
That definitely works.
I like that a lot. We do get to choose two of these. So if we do reactive field, we can also do one of the other two.
They just have to be different powers is all. Yeah.
Okay.
So always be prepared for a forklift. Do we want that?
I do.
I like that.
Okay. And reactive field with the gadgets.
And these
now
go under ability.
So these are yellow abilities. So these are going to be like once the fight kind of gets underway. Now, here is a fun bonus that was a delight for me when I first realized it about Sentinel Comics. They give all of these abilities names, and they give them very generic names. However, you are instructed to rename them in a way that fits the theme of your character.
Okay.
So we don't have to call it reactive field. This is anti-pickup, static or something like that.
How did you describe it? Anti-grab or?
I think I said something like pickup resistance.
Okay.
There we go. All right. So pickup resistance.
I'll put reactive field in just so people know.
Yep. There's no icon with this one, so.
Yeah. And
Correct.
so that's because it's a reaction. So it's going to happen when someone else's turn as opposed to, because the icons are reflecting like what action you choose on your own turn.
Gotcha.
Yeah. As for the other one, I mean, always be forklifting.
You know what they say, ABF, always be forklifting.
Get in the forklift, Shinji.
So, are we going to always be forklifting?
Maybe something like ready to lift, because it's the preparedness move.
Oh, okay.
True. Ready to lift, always prepared, and hot to go.
And then the power we're assigning to it is the forklift.
Yes.
The
Our
Cat
signature
Forklift.
vehicle, the forklift.
Sweet.
So that is step 2. We have our source of powers, which is training by the Swiss military contractors. And so now we break out that D10 and 2 D8s again. We're going to roll for our archetype.
All right. Give the audience some dice.
Oh, yeah.
Dice mixing. Okay. I got a 5 on the D10, and then on the D8s, I got a 7 and another 5.
Okay. That then gives us 5, 7, 10, and 12. Am I missing any? No. Okay.
Nope.
This is page 72. So your archetypes are where you fit in with a superhero team. These are kind of common roles that come up. There's speedster, there's sorcerer, there's wild card. Our options are blaster, armored, robot/cyborg, and psychic.
I feel like we could make most of those work except psychic.
Yeah.
Now, again, we also still do have a reroll if we would like, but these are going to give us some additional powers and some additional qualities as well as abilities.
I kind of like blaster and armored, honestly.
Mm,
I don't think we need to reroll. We could use one of those.
true.
Unless you guys don't like them. But like blaster focuses on like signature weaponry, mobility, technological powers. The things that we do.
Yeah.
I wonder if armored might fit in because like, I don't know if I think of blasters like the stealth kind of stuff. Armored though, like we've got that vitality, we've got that discipline. Is this cat a tank?
Is this cat a tank?
Well, one of its traits is stealth.
True.
But he also drives that forklift.
It's the quietest forklift you've ever heard.
I mean, we could weld some steel plates onto that forklift.
I was gonna say we could put some concrete in there.
Like, it could genuinely be either one of these based on the skills that we've already given this cat.
I say we give this cat the killdozer and just call it armored.
Going for armored? All right.
That's my vote.
All right.
One little note is there is a note at the end of training that says that we'll get an extra quality from our archetype at a D8. So when we go over to armored, it's going to tell us how to assign the D10 and the 2 D8s that we rolled. We're also getting an additional additional quality at a D8. So
all right.
Looking at armored, page 79.
Yep. Assign one or more of the dice you rolled at the end of the power sources. Step up any of these powers.
We have a wide variety of powers, pretty much any of them. And then we get to do some additional qualities as well. So I think we should probably do like 2 powers, 2 qualities. I think there's a total of 4 because we need to do at least 1 power and then at least 1 quality from that was the D8 quality that we got from training.
Right.
So we have our signature vehicle. We could add signature weaponry to the forklift if we wanted that. But let's actually, those mobility powers, I wonder if there's any that really fit in. Let's see. What are our mobility powers?
Flight, leaping, momentum, swimming, swinging, teleportation, or wall crawling.
I mean, momentum.
You build up momentum as you move and can channel it effectively.
This is an infinitely accelerating forklift.
I mean, you roll an armored thing downhill, it's going to...
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, it's there. It's stealth to get to the top of the hill, but coming down, whooey. Katie barred the door.
All bets are off.
Okay, that's fun. Let's see. So there's, materials. I mean, I think some of this is like either control over metal plants. So this is a superhero game. Like, we've been very, very mundane and technological, but you could have a cat that could turn itself to stone if we wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
There's also technological powers. We already have gadgets. Inventions, probably not. I think this cat is reaping the inventions of others. I don't think it's creating any of its own.
Yeah, no.
Ooh, maybe intellectual. We haven't done any of those. So there's awareness, deduction, intuition, lightning calculator, and presence. This cat have a lot of presence, a lot of
I want to say no.
Come into a room and you're like, yeah, that cat. No, Greg, we have stealth. Yeah, that's probably not good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I'm thinking like deduction, intuition, or lightning calculator.
Those are all fairly cat appropriate abilities.
True.
Maybe this cat's a really quick thinker.
I mean, deduction might be how the cat was able to be trained to operate a forklift. I think through counting out the buttons and realizing it.
I think so.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, that works.
Okay. All right.
So deduction. This goes under.
So this is a power of deduction, and then we wanted momentum for mobility.
I believe so.
Okay.
As long as you guys are Gucci with that.
Yeah. So there's a D10 and 2 D8s on the table.
Okay.
And then we can also take another quality.
Right, and then we'll get a quality, and then a second quality that's going to be a D8. We can maybe pick all the qualities and then see where we want the... Okay, yeah, so physical qualities and social qualities.
We've already taken stealth, but we've also got acrobatics. That was the other one that we'd thought about doing before.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that one. Close combat, finesse, fitness, range combat, or stealth. Since we're not doing blaster, I don't think we can say range combat.
No.
Yeah, I think not. I mean, fitness is kind of fitting in with the vitality.
Oh, yes.
Run long distances without getting tired.
Yeah.
Fitness works.
Okay.
And then from
our socials are banter, insight, imposing, leadership, and persuasion.
I mean, we know cats can be good at persuading.
Yes.
Ooh. I mean, it's right. At some point, someone was like, I'm going to put this cat in the tiny forklift and see how it does it. And perhaps the cat was involved in getting that idea off the ground. Persuasion is good. I think, honestly, like rubbing up against my legs, that's a minimum D10 of persuasion.
Oh, yeah.
I think.
All
I'll do
right, so
anything at that point.
So if we give persuasion the D10, then that means all the other ones that we've picked get D8s.
We could make it also a D8. I'm not,
I'm fine with making it the D10.
Yeah.
D10. Yeah. Okay.
I was thinking either persuasion for D10 or deduction for D10. But honestly, I'm good with either.
Persuasion feels more cat-like.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. And then we get to make some more of these abilities.
Let's go.
So we get the armored ability no matter what.
Yep.
Yeah, looks like.
And so that's just, again, owing to presumably the armor on the forklift. It's going to reduce physical or energy damage by 1, 2, or 3, depending on kind of the intensity of the scene.
All right.
And again, we'll get to rename this when we're done. And then we get 3 different green abilities using at least 2 different powers. So looking through these, we've got Deflect, which is a reaction to send damage that you're taking elsewhere. There's Dual Offense, which lets you attack 2 different targets, one with your mid die, one with your min.
Okay.
Living Bulwark, which lets you attack with a power and then defend another target with your min die. Repair, which is attack and then you recover health. And Unstoppable Charge, attack with a power or quality, ignore all penalties, ignore any defend actions, and it cannot be affected by reactions.
All right, so unstoppable charge with momentum, obviously.
Yeah.
Itself.
It's the obvious one.
Now, I also like there's a subtle thing here, which is that momentum is a power on the cat. And so it is actually distinct from the forklift. I think they're complementary, but this does speak to the fact that the cat itself has some amount of inbuilt momentum and force, sort of regardless of whether or not it's driving the forklift.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is just, a healthy, chonky guy,
Mm-hmm.
He is built for stealth and damage.
Yeah.
He is not a glass cannon. He is just a cannon.
I kind of like the idea of dual offense,
Okay.
but I can't think of what power to use with it from the ones that we just chose.
Yeah, I think we could use one of our earlier powers as well.
Oh, okay.
So you could definitely do gadgets for dual offense, and that would work. Like we're sending out 2 little taser drones, maybe.
Yeah, I was thinking of using gadgets as well.
Or the catarangs.
Yeah, 2 catarangs. Got a big catarang and a little catarang. Or it's actually just 1 catarang and it hits with more force on the way out and then a little bit less force to something else on the way back in.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like it loses momentum as it hits targets.
Right, exactly. I mean, the further it gets away from the cat, its momentum is going to go more naturally to how physics works.
Yeah.
Rather than when it's in this cat's momentum field.
Physics in a superhero game? Are you kidding me? Those don't exist. So dual offense.
Yeah. Okay. An unstoppable charge. And so we've got deflect. I mean, we kind of already have a reaction with the anti getting picked up field.
Yeah, but that's once things have escalated.
That's true. That's true. So yeah, deflect would be like, essentially something bouncing off armor and hitting, deflecting to hit another target.
And then the power for dual offense would be the cat collar.
Yeah.
Let's see. So deflect. What can we use to deflect? Our powers of deduction, maybe?
Our persuasion deflecting in a conversation.
Technically, those, I think some of those are qualities. And so this calls for power.
Yeah.
Repair would also work with vitality, right? If there's...
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I think we could do repair if we're building this cat like a tank.
Yeah.
Attack using vitality, recover health equal to your min die.
Sounds good.
All right. Putting it on the board.
Yeah, I mean, it's... Cats are hunters. They eat the kill, get stronger.
That's how you do it. Whenever you overcome a challenge, you get stronger, right? That's how it works.
Yes.
I've been playing a lot of Elden Ring, so I'm eating enemies' powers left and right over here.
All right. Should we give these some names?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, so armored.
Armored is obviously armored forklift, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Unstoppable charge.
I like absolute unit.
Absolute unit. Yeah, I like that a lot.
That's good. I was gonna say something like Volt Tackle, using like the anti-grab field on our, like, assuming that's always up. Like you run through people, electrifying. But absolute unit is also pretty good.
Yeah. All right, dual offense. We said this was what, the Catarang?
Yep.
Yeah.
What about repair?
What's the name of the Monster of the Week ability? It's like Unquenchable Vitality or something like that.
Oh, yeah, there you go. We could go a little Warrior Cats reference and call it Fresh Kill.
Oh.
Also a good option. I know we did the Warriors adventure game. I at least still haven't read Warrior Cats.
I haven't either.
My eldest child was a perfect age to binge through all of those books, and so I think I've heard it from her.
Which one do we want to go with? Fresh Kill or...
Fresh Kill probably makes more sense if we're saying that we're recovering health from attacking someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, I love the Warrior Cats reference because we're all about cats here. So
Exactly. I couldn't have guessed. All right. So the last part of this archetype step is then to choose another one of those principles. So we got our second principle, and this one should be from the expertise category.
All right, and those are Clockwork, Gearhead, History, Indestructible, the Lab, Mastery, the Mentor, the Powerless, Science, Speed, Stealth, Strength, Tactician, Whispers.
yeah.
And that's the end of the list. I kind of want to say Stealth because we've done very little else to supplement our stealth.
Yeah, I was thinking
That is
too.
true. Well, I think it's got to be that, like, this cat is all about the forklift, right? It's an armored forklift. There's a lot of momentum. So when they leave the forklift, they're a shadow, just like relative to this thing. So, yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, principle stealth, you always know the most efficient method to enter or leave a location, which I'm going to say that actually that description does not necessarily imply stealth, because when you are the proud operator of a forklift, the most efficient method to enter or leave a location, let's just say the options expand to pretty much any available wall.
Any available wall, aka making an entrance or making an exit.
Yep.
Okay.
Dramatic exit. Only thing better than a dramatic entrance.
Exit pursued by forklift.
I'm loving this guy.
This is... We made... we are currently making the blue collar Batman. This is Bruce Wayne if he was just a guy and not a billionaire.
If he was a cat.
If he was a cat, yeah.
This is great. I mean, again, I love this. We're still in plausible cat. Kind of.
Yeah.
Plausible cat ability.
Yeah.
It's great because this is also all like, the dice have made a very consistent character, which is a thing that's always funny when it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's, I love the dice in this because it gives you a little bit of choice, a little bit of freedom, but then also kind of those constraints that like breed some of the good creativity in character creation.
Mm-hmm.
It's delightful. So there's a note at the bottom of Armored that when it comes time to calculate our health, we can tweak the rules on that a little bit. So we'll get to that at a later step. But when you're ready, take 2d10 to do personality selection.
Okay. That's the other D10. Okay, I got a 1 and a 6 for person.
All right. So that's Lone Wolf is 1, Distant is 6, Stalwart is 7. The choices on this step, there's certainly kind of the narrative aspect of like, okay, I'm playing a lone wolf, or I'm playing someone who's distant.
Mm-hmm.
The mechanical part of this is that the personality step defines your green, yellow, and red dice. So the choice here is kind of like, are you going to be more powerful at the beginning of the scene when things are mostly under control, or at the end of the scene when it's really like bare knuckled, last minute, you've taken a lot of damage, again, you're pulling out all the stops. So we can look at these. Lone Wolf is steady throughout. It's all 8s.
Yep.
Distant starts better and gets worse. And then Stalwart is, I guess, also all 8s.
Yeah.
I kind of think Lone Wolf and Stalwart are things, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Stalwart does, it feels like, play really well into this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, into the heavily armored forklift cat.
Do we want to go with Stalwart then?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So our status dice then are 8s across the board. So we're always going to be rolling a D8, regardless where we are as a scene. So there's also, I guess mechanically as well, this does give the quote out ability. So if you've taken all of the damage and are out of the scene, you still get a turn and get to roll a little die to help someone out in some way. And so Stalwart lets you defend an ally. So even if this cat is nearly unconscious, still, there's still space in the forklift for someone if that person is also cat size. So I don't know. It depends on the makeup of the team, I guess. But what we can do here now is take out more of our writing and creativity hats. And this is when we get to make up a quality based on the hero's backstory. So if you're familiar with Fate, this is often like, your sort of your big idea aspect. This is one of our qualities that is like, what is unique that really captures this cat? And so this could be related to the upbringing with the Swiss military. It could be related to, the blue collar lifestyle that led the cat to have an affection for all things forklift.
So we get to just make this up, right?
Yep, completely make it up.
So we could just say like Union Cat or something like that.
What would a union quality like? When would we need to roll for that?
Well, since we didn't choose Lone Wolf, we would be the kind of implication of Union Man is like solidarity with your coworkers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and resistance to capitalist power. It could definitely come up, and it's like vibes again. So, if you're rolling gadgets, but you're doing it in a way that is, helping out a comrade kind of thing, you could roll it with Union Cat as your quality because that's where that's coming from.
Or if the villain is talking to you, trying to get you to switch sides, you can be like, no. Come, take a management position.
I'm not 20, a scab.
Make 20 times what your coworkers make. All right. Yeah. I like that.
I mean, also it can just be like generally rolled along with forklift activities.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Union Cat. I believe there is I'll try to look up. I believe there is a good broadsheet from perhaps the late 19th century about a Union Cat.
Okay.
Dig up my my Jorts zine.
Your Jorts zine.
Mm-hmm.
You made a zine for them?
Yeah, Jorts and Gene published a zine.
Incredible.
Nice.
Say that 10 times fast. Jeez.
Yeah. All right. Then we also get to choose some red abilities. And so this is when things are tough. When the scabs are busting through the line. What do we want to roll? And so the way that the red abilities are sorted out is they're categorized by power type. And so you can pick any of the red abilities that sort of match with any of the powers that you already have. So I think probably the way to go through that, I mean, there are, a good 2 dozen of these. If we maybe want to like highlight some powers that we want to make sure we have a red ability for, we can, start with the power and then kind of dig through the list and see if there's one that's appealing.
Okay, we've not used our deduction power for anything yet.
I was
so...
just about to say that. We need, so definitely one of those.
So that'd be an intellectual power?
Yeah.
I'm looking at the intellectual powers, yeah. Unerring Strike would be potentially one, right? It's ignore all penalties on the attack, ignore any defend actions, and it cannot be affected by reactions.
Yeah.
So we just deduced the precise spot to hit, and we hit it.
I like that a lot.
And I think this is maybe similar to the momentum one ability, but this one you get the max plus the min die, so it's much more of an oomph.
Yeah, this is a finishing blow.
Yeah. So I have a pitch for the other one. The forklift is key. Look under quick exit. This is under the hallmark powers, which has the signature weapon and signature vehicle. Quick exit lets you attack with your vehicle using your max die, so a lot of damage.
Mm-hmm.
Hinder each nearby opponent with the mid die, so you're messing up all the people around it. And then after using the ability, you and up to 2 allies may end up anywhere in the scene, even outside of the action. This feels like the ultimate, like, swirling around with the forklift, doing donuts with a forklifting things around to hinder the enemies, 2 other folks grabbing onto the outside of the armor and just blasting out of there. I feel like this is a great, I want to see this comic panel for our character.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I like that a lot.
We could call it something like, what are the things called? Afterburners or something?
Afterburner. Yeah.
Yeah, they just put some of those on the forklift, because of course they did.
Why wouldn't they? I mean, they've got that military money, you know?
Yeah. The entire defense budget went into this forklift.
Is there a good fork pun? I don't know.
Yeah, I was trying to think of something as well. Like, I had like formation breaker or formation lifter.
This feels like a kind of an up and away, except a forklift is up and down, you know?
Yeah.
So up, down, and away.
Up, down, and away.
Up, down, and through?
Yeah. Up, down, and through. The battering ram. The cattering ram.
Oh, there we go.
I like it.
Let's do the and then for unerring strike.
It's about using deduction to do a big hit.
The no-hit Sherlock.
I was like, where is that coming? Oh, right, deduction, yeah.
I mean, true strike, no, that feels too simple, right?
You know, honestly, thinking cat-wise, it feels like this is a highly targeted, incredibly accurate, knocking thing off a shelf onto enemies. Like, what is the... that it feels like that's the impulse. Like, I know that when I hit this with my paw, I have deduced that it will fall and crash on someone.
Catastrophic damage.
Count it.
Yep.
So that is that's step 5
Okay.
done, making the right abilities. Step 6 is retcon, and this lets us sort of smooth out some of the variability, that kind of thing. If we want, you get to do one of these things. You can either swap 2 dice within the powers, swap 2 dice within the qualities, choose a different power or quality for one of your abilities that we already have, add a D6 power or quality from any category, increase our red status die by 1 size, or change either of the principles, or alternately get an extra red ability. So looking at, maybe we should like review the powers and qualities in the dice and kind of see, like, do we feel like the magnitudes are right? Do we want to swap any of those around? Or is there a glaring hole that we would want to fill with like a D6?
The Cat Forklift is a D8. Our Cat Collar is a D10. The Vitality is a D8. Deduction's a D8. Momentum's a D8. Self-Discipline is a D10. Stealth is a D8. Fitness is a D8. Persuasion is a D10. And Union Cat is a D8. Now, I will say, we've also not used Persuasion in any of our abilities. So if we want a D6, or no, this would be power and quality. So the only other thing we can do is get an extra red ability, right?
Yeah, though bear in mind, because of the way that you're always rolling a power and you're always rolling a quality, if we are, for example, driving the armored forklift in a persuasive way, you can argue to use the D10 for that,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So
okay.
yeah.
And I'm assuming the way we would do that is we're driving the forklift directly into a gate in order to persuade somebody to open it.
Yeah.
Or to persuade the gate to open itself. Maybe by falling over.
True. Can you persuade a gate?
I mean, you know,
Depends on how smart the gate is.
Look, from a cat's point of view, they are rubbing up against the gate or the door, and eventually it opens in front of them. I think if that's not persuasion, I don't know what is.
True.
If you meow at a closed door long enough, it will open.
Exactly. I think my pitch is that D8 for Cat Forklift is probably too low given how central it's
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
thinking that too. I was like, we really dumped that there and just ran with it.
Yeah. Should we switch that with Cat Collar?
Uh,
Get it up to a D10?
Yeah,
Do
sure.
we have to switch it, or we could just bump it up, right? Increase. Oh no, your red status stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Those gadgets are still pretty important, but they're not as
Okay.
important as the forklift.
Wait, can we switch
We
a D8
could-
across things?
No, it's gotta be
No,
the-
we can't.
We could also switch persuasion, like if saying like, hey, it's persuasion is a really hard one to argue into using. I mean, Union Cat we could use in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, I think switching our
Persuasion to Union Cat.
yeah, switching the D10 and the D8 on those two would be good.
Okay. I agree.
All right.
And that gives us our 1.
Okay. Step 7 is determine our health. So let me just go back and look. I believe Armored gave us a special note on this one. Okay, so our health is going to be 8 plus our red status die plus the maximum value of one of our athletic powers, mental powers, or because of Armored, materials or technological powers. I don't think we actually took any of those.
We do have an athletic power, though.
Yes. So what is our biggest athletic power?
All our athletic powers are D8s.
Okay. Which one is momentum? Oh, I guess that's mobility.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So 24, and then we can either choose to roll a D8 and add that, or just take a 4.
Let's risk it.
We're risking.
All right.
All right.
Yep.
So roll that D8.
Ooh, that's a 2.
Oh,
Well, it is a cat.
Yeah.
All right. So our maximum health is 26. And then there's a little table where we can sort out then at what health threshold you slip into the yellow and at what health threshold you get to the red.
all right. So if our health is 26,
Our max health is 26. Then we're green between 26 and 21, yellow between 20 and 10, red between 9 and 1.
okay.
Step 7, easy step.
Nice.
And that just gets to step 8. Name the cat.
Woo! Finally.
Yay.
Yeah, fill in the final details.
This is also just fill in any other details, like what do they look like physically? Do they wear a costume or uniform? What color is the forklift? Has it been graffitied by them or others? You know, that kind of thing.
Oh, absolutely. It has graffiti on
I feel like that forklift has to be mostly red, right? Like if it's going to look like a Swiss Army knife or something.
it.
Oh, I hadn't even realized the Swiss Army knife, like with the cat collar as well. Like
Oh,
that's actually a
yeah.
really fitting kind of association.
Man, we're great at this.
Look at us. Yeah. So
Is our hero,
Hero
name the
name?
Swiss Army cat?
Swiss Army cat. I don't know. That feels like it's too on the nose.
are there forklift puns we have not hit yet? And I think that like Alias, I love just like when it's just the most mundane cat name.
Let's see. Why am I thinking Armstrong right now?
I have no idea.
Me neither. Yeah, I can't think of a forklift pun.
Yeah, me neither. Man.
I mean, Swiss Army cat, we could just go with.
Yeah. And then what's the
And
alias?
Alias.
One moment.
Okay.
I'm trying to find something. Give me just a second. I will have it.
He's going into his mind palace. He's searching.
There we go.
Formaggio
Formaggio. Ooh.
just means cheese in Italian.
So that's
I
our
think that's-
alias?
Yeah.
Is it Formagio?
2 G's.
2 G's. That's a great cat name.
Formaggio was his name.
So I think like kind of like a light, like a tan, kind of like a buff color.
Yeah.
Tan. Okay.
Short hair or long hair? I feel like Army has got to be short hair,
yeah,
right?
buzz,
Short hair,
buzz
yep.
cut.
It's buzz cut. Right.
This is a British
Actually a
short-haired
long-haired cat, but is just buzzed regularly.
Yeah, they shear him a little bit.
All right. Well, that's 8 steps. We got ourselves a cat.
Is this cat wearing a military uniform?
Yeah, I feel like a tack vest. You think?
Well, or is it like a mechanic's jumpsuit, right? Like what would you wear driving a forklift?
I think more importantly, what would you wear driving a forklift into battle?
That is a better point.
Oh, this is giving me jobs.
Kind of like what's the ideal place for body armor on a cat, right? Because it's not really the chest, because that's pointed down.
Yeah, a hard
just
hat
around the
It's
sides.
gonna be on its back. Like, its back is gonna be the thing that's most exposed, so...
True.
Yeah.
A hard hat that it just is like a shell for its back.
Oh wait, should we be retconning the collar into a hard hat? Is the other question.
No, I think the collar's a collar.
Yeah.
And not only that, it's a blue one.
Yeah, blue collar.
Oh, clever. Love it.
Do we want anything besides the collar?
I think it would be funny to have it in, like, a military officer's cap.
Okay.
I feel like though, as a sort of the Union cat, probably no higher than the rank of sergeant, I think.
Yeah.
Definitely NCO.
Yep, sounds good.
Got little armbands that have the sergeant stripes on it.
Now, what are we thinking gender-wise here?
This feels like a male cat to me, I think.
Think so?
All right.
Maybe it's just because the momentum is reminding me of one of my cats who is himself an absolute unit.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
You know what? That's fair.
I have a male cat and he is huge. Like, he is massive.
It's funny, like he can open doors like when they're, not like latched closed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things where on the one hand, it looks clever, like, oh, he figured out that he can manipulate the door in his environment. But I think there's this subtext of actually he doesn't realize that he should stop walking and just figured out that he kept moving and the door did too.
Age.
Oh, we got to go back
Gotta
to the
be
stats,
at least 4
right?
years old in order to have learned all this stuff, right?
True.
Oh, no question. I mean, I think probably 7 or 8.
7?
I was thinking like 4, maybe 5.
I guess feels older to me. Feels more experienced, I think.
All right, I guess if it's got the rank of sergeant, yeah, 7 would make sense.
Okay.
Assuming he actually earned that rank.
Once he started operating the forklift, they just gave it to him.
Yeah. Okay, I think height we gotta go max height, 9.8 inches.
9.8
Okay.
inches. All right. Eyes.
I am Google image searching Swiss people to see if I can get like a general vibe of the eyes right now.
My guess, green.
I don't know if I want to know the Google AI result too. What do the Swiss look like?
Oh God.
I'm seeing a lot of green eyes.
Yep.
Okay,
I was right.
that works.
Skin.
Hidden by fur.
Yeah, I guess I probably
Yeah.
shouldn't put NA. That doesn't sound good.
Yes, right.
Skin,
Well, we've pivoted
none.
hard into a horror RPG at this point.
I mean, when you think about it, some superhero stories are kind of horror stories.
Yeah, no, we've been doing this for 2
Yeah.
hours. And did we forget to mention that this cat has no skin?
The whole time.
Yeah,
Yeah, sorry guys, he's also a skeleton.
yeah.
Now you have to re-listen to
Halloween
the episode
episode.
with that in mind.
Right, we actually were dropping hints that the cat was a skeleton the whole time.
Yep. It's completely unrelated to his powers or other actions, but all right. So,
Yeah,
is that
that's it. That's the steps. I think we got our. Oh wait, we got our boy. We got Formaggio, the Swiss Army cat, and
Okay.
certified cat-sized forklift operator,
God, who knew
the
that?
union position.
Who knew that we'd live to see a forklift certified cat?
I mean, when there's a will, there's a way. We found a way to give a cat a chainsaw last episode, so.
True.
That's fantastic.
So, yeah, this was an episode of How to Make a Literal Cat in Your Favorite RPG, everyone. Fiona, is there anything you would like to plug here at the end?
I would, yeah. So listen to my podcast. So Team Up Moves, it's at teamupmoves.com. It's also on Spotify, iTunes, all of those places. We're currently on a little bit of an indefinite hiatus, but the old episodes are up. I think we've done 12 or 13 different superhero games. We have great guests. 12 or 13 games. It's all up there. Listen to us play the games, listen to us talk about them with people who know what they're talking about when it comes to superhero fiction. Not me. That's what the guests, my co-host, are for. But yeah, I would love for you all to check it out.
Yeah, go give that a listen.
If you want to find me elsewhere, I still technically am at FionaWhim on Twitter, though I don't go there regularly. Instead, I'm on Tumblr, also as FionaWhim, and I don't post much, but I do reblog a lot of Baldur's Gate and Dropout TV content. So
Nice.
If you like those things, so do I.
I might have to give you a follow over there. I've been completely unplugged from Tumblr for a hot minute.
That's fine. It's not going great over there again.
That is true. However, the Dunmeshi fan art is a gift that keeps giving.
Truly it is. I'm so glad to know that season 2 has already been greenlit.
Oh, excellent.
I still gotta watch season 1. I'm so behind on my anime.
You really do.
I just finished Freerun like a week ago.
Wait, I still need to watch Freerun.
Watch it. It's good. It's really good.
I've heard. We didn't break any rules.
Yeah, no.
No, this feels, again, for a superhero game, no superpowers. But that's fine. That's not a requirement in superhero fiction.
It happens sometimes.
Yeah.
We've had what? The Punisher, Batman.
It's Hawkeye,
Yeah.
This is the Hawkeye of
Yeah.
cats.
Black Widow.
Just with the forklift instead of a bow and arrow.
Yeah, also, Hawkeye would be the blaster, and we went a different way.
Yeah. Excellent. I feel very positive about that. I've succeeded. I've come onto your show, and I've broken no rules.
Incredible. A feat that not many
Yeah.
get to witness.
I mean, it happens whenever you bring a superhero game on, let's be real.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway, Avalon. How about that cat pun?
Okay. In a world where humans are turned into cats, how does an award-winning parody musician introduce himself?
Weird Meow Yankovic?
You almost got it. He walks on the mic and says, "Meow." So there you go.
Okay. I regret this bit every episode.
You regret. I have to think of the. They're just gonna keep getting worse. By the way, there's not a lot you can do.
With every episode, the bottom of the barrel gets thinner.
I have scraped past the bottom of the barrel.